Hi, you're watching Teen Kids News. I'm Luke. We're all very excited to be part of a very special anniversary. This is our 20th season on the air. More on that later in the program. But now, let's go to our top story. Being able to spend a semester studying abroad is one of the most popular programs U.S. colleges offer. But suppose instead of just a semester, you could get your entire college education in another country. Ava tells us that might make a lot of sense, as in dollars and cents.
One of the big drawbacks about going to college is cost. Sure, if you win a full-ride scholarship or go to an in-state school, college can be more affordable. But if you want to go to a top private school, unless you have a very rich uncle, be prepared to take out a lot of loans. And that's something many experts say we shouldn't do. Graduating from even a prestigious university with loads of debt may not be the wisest move. That's why some students are looking at colleges in other countries. But is that a good idea? For advice, we once again turn to our college expert, Rob Franick. He's the editor-in-chief of the Princeton Review. Rob, is getting your college degree from a school in another country truly an option?
It is. In Europe alone, there are more than 300 universities offering English-taught undergraduate degrees. And many colleges abroad welcome students from the U.S., just as many colleges in America welcome students from abroad.
Let's dig into the numbers. According to the College Board, in 2021, tuition at a private college was about $38,000 a year. Are colleges in other countries less costly?
Yes, and let's make a quick note. The average tuition at a public college here in the U.S., where the majority of students actually attend, is about $23,000 for out-of-state students and about $10,000 for in-state students. But here are some examples of the average tuition costs at colleges in countries abroad. Number 1, Japan, $5,229. How about Australia? $4,763. Canada, $4,939. And Italy, $1,658. And just a quick note there, Italy is the second most popular study abroad destination for Americans. That's according to Business Insider.
You said Italy was the second most popular country for U.S. students? What's the most popular?
Probably no surprise, it is the United Kingdom. Now, in the UK, it has an outstanding system of colleges and universities. And of course, there's no language barrier.
And what does the tuition there cost?
For most subjects, if you're studying in the UK, it's about $12,370 all the way up to $24,370. So it's not inexpensive, but it is far less expensive than the $38,000 that a student could expect to pay for tuition alone at a private university here in the States.
Let's say I attend college in London. Will my degree stack up to a degree in America? Will it be accepted?
It's an excellent question, and the odds are it will. But here's the thing. You can check out the accreditation of a college abroad by looking it up by one of the major U.S. accrediting organizations. There are two big ones. Number 1 is the Council for Higher Education Accreditation, and number 2 is the Middle States Commission on Higher Education.
Any other advantages to going to a foreign college?
Absolutely. First, consider your area of study. If you're considering an art major, what better place could there be than studying in Italy? If you're considering a French major, magnifique! Living in France will be a big bonus for you, not to mention the experience of living in a different culture and the shine that it will ultimately have on your resume. Also, you'll likely be employed sooner. Let's remember that bachelor's degrees earned at a foreign university, an international school, take about 3 years as opposed to a 4-year degree here in the States.
And the disadvantages?
Well, number 1, the cost of travel. That's to and from home could be a lot higher. Living expenses. Now, this is key for housing and for food. Many higher education institutions in Europe and abroad in general don't have dorms or dining halls. Also on the list, finding a part-time job can be difficult. Some countries require non-citizens to get work permits to work while they're there. But here's the thing. Financial aid is available at some colleges abroad, and others are tuition-free, no matter where a student actually hails from.
Certainly sounds worth looking into. Thanks, Rob.
Oh, always good to be here. You're welcome.
As we just heard, getting a degree from a foreign school may save you a lot of money. And saving money is important, especially when you realize that most U.S. students graduate college with about $28,000 of debt. But attending college in another country isn't for everyone. So, like with every major decision in life, be sure to do your homework. I'm Ava for Teen Kids News.
We've got lots more coming up on Teen Kids News, so keep watching. We'll be right back.
Many of us probably had, or still have, a Beanie Baby collection, which is not surprising. Those soft, cuddly stuffed toys were intentionally marketed to be collected. The company had a strategy to make people want to keep buying. Babies were produced in limited numbers. Also, there were restrictions on how many babies could be sent to any one store. That's why certain characters sold out so quickly. Rather than making more, the company would just retire those Beanie Babies. That's an example of the famous law of supply and demand. Simply put, the smaller the available supply of a product, the bigger the demand for it. So, by limiting the supply of Beanie Babies, the company was able to increase the demand for them. Thinking that one day Beanie Babies would become valuable, some people began collecting them as an investment. Unfortunately, lovable as they are, most Beanie Babies just aren't worth all that much. But there are some exceptions. You could be in luck if you own one of the special limited edition babies. Or you have a baby that's unique because it has a mistake, like a misprinted tag. Additionally, there are a handful of babies that are worth more than their weight in gold. The most valuable baby is the Princess Bear. The purple beanie was released after the tragic death of England's Princess Diana. Money raised from sales of the Princess Bear were donated to the Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fund. One Princess Bear was listed on eBay for a king's ransom, more than $500,000. Although the highest price ever actually paid for the royal Beanie Baby was far, far less than that. But still, it's amazing how Beanie Babies captured and held national attention for so long. Of course, another reason is because many of them have emotional value. My great-grandmother started collecting Beanie Babies before I was born. It was her wish that they'd be passed on to future generations. So, they become a precious family treasure, and you can't put a price on that. For Teen Kids News, I'm Chloe.
Still ahead, we look back. As part of our 20th anniversary of Teen Kids News, we'll stroll down memory lane with another of our former reporters. We'll be right back. It's time for Make the Grade. Here's Christin with this week's advice.
Do you know one of the biggest mistakes people make when it comes to being a good leader?
Just telling people what to do, being arrogant about it.
It's like they forget how to be a follower. They just completely absorb leadership and they get detached almost. And it makes them less effective.
Actually, it's that they don't delegate. Chances are that the reason you were chosen captain of your team is because you're one of the best players, or that you were elected class president because you had a talent for getting things done. But here's the challenge. Just because you can probably do the task better than anyone else doesn't mean you should. There are a number of reasons why. First of all, if you get bogged down handling all the individual tasks, you probably won't have time to handle the things you're supposed to handle as the leader. Another reason to delegate is to make sure others in the group feel they have something to contribute. When people feel left out, they tend to drop out. Delegating is also a great way to pass on knowledge to others so that they can become leaders themselves. After all, a good leader makes sure to leave the organization in good hands. One of history's greatest military leaders was Alexander the Great. He created the largest empire of his day. Because he didn't plan on who would replace him as leader, his empire fell apart when he died. So you might say when it came to preparing the next leaders, Alexander the Great wasn't so great. I'm Christin, here to help you make the grade.
News for teens, delivered by teens. That's the mission of Teen Kids News. And we've been doing that for 20 years now. Here's another one of our reporters who's contributed a lot to the program over the years.
This concert was about more than just the music. BTS puts on an incredible show. Hi, I'm Katie. I started as a reporter on Teen Kids News when I was 13. Currently, I'm a senior at college, majoring in environmental studies. I think the hardest part about being a reporter is making sure you're clearly explaining things that the viewers don't actually know. I know because I'm reporting it, but the viewers don't. And so laying it all out for them clearly in a way that they can understand is probably one of the hardest parts. My favorite memory as a reporter for Teen Kids News was interviewing students at Alvin Ailey School of Dance. I got to not only talk to the students and teachers, but also take a class with them.
Reach. Woohoo, come on, long line. You want to join us at the school? Very good. And come up tall, yes?
I think I learned that the people I'm interviewing can get very nervous on camera because they've never experienced it before, and so it's really important to make them comfortable and reassuring them that whatever they say is not going to sound as silly as they think.
You should find this week's Art Smart riveting. That's because our subject is the painting Rosie the Riveter. It was created by American artist Norman Rockwell. During World War II, so many men were in the US military, women were needed to handle much of the factory work. They built ships, planes, and tanks. A song was even written about them. It was called Rosie the Riveter.
All the day long, whether rain or shine, she's a part of the assembly line. She's making history, working for victory. Rosie, the Riveter.
Rivets are used to hold metal together. Heated so they're white hot, they're driven into place with a heavy rivet gun. While working at the Saturday Evening Post, Rockwell decided to paint a cover for the magazine featuring a woman representing Rosie. He used a 19-year-old telephone operator named Mary Doyle to pose. For artistic inspiration, Rockwell reached back more than 500 years to fellow artist Michelangelo. Among other things he was famous for, Michelangelo painted the ceiling in the Sistine Chapel. One of the biblical scenes he depicted was of the prophet Isaiah. Rockwell used Michelangelo's Isaiah as a template for Rosie. You can see she's taking a break for lunch, holding a sandwich. Her rivet gun lies across her lap, her lunchbox is by her side. What many might not have noticed is that Rockwell added his own anti-Nazi message. Under Rosie's foot is a copy of the book written by Adolf Hitler, Mein Kampf. You might say Rosie is stamping out Nazism. The painting was so popular, the government used it to raise money to support the war effort. By the way, when Mary Doyle, the woman who modeled for Rosie, saw the finished painting, she was a bit taken aback. Rockwell painted her as far beefier than she really was. Apparently, Rockwell felt badly. He eventually called her and apologized for making her look so hefty. With Art Smart, I'm Katie.
Although roads were built for cars, they're also shared by people walking, biking, or riding on scooters. And that's the subject of this next video from the National Road Safety Foundation.
Whose road is it?
It's my road.
Whose road is it?
It's my road.
Whose road is it?
My road.
Whose road is it?
My road.
Stop. This isn't your road. This is our road. And we need to share it.
Whose road is it?
Everybody's.
The NRSF produces lots of helpful videos. To see more of them, and for info on driving safety, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to the National Road Safety Foundation. We'll be right back with more Teen Kids News. Every country has its special ways to eat. Spain is no different. Nicole tells us about the art of diminutive dish dining.
In many places in Spain, especially in the southern part of the country, you'll find markets that sell what are called tapas. So what are tapas?
Tapas is a different way to eat. You can try too many different foods. It's like have one plate of food, but in a minimal way, in a small way. In this way, you can try too many different tapas and you never get full.
Well, I don't know about never getting full, but there seems to be an almost endless variety of tapas to buy and try. While these may look like desserts topped with whipped cream, that fluffy white stuff is actually cheese, mozzarella cheese. There are little sandwiches, little burgers that we'd call sliders, not to mention olives and sardines and sweets, oh my! They even have a form of tapas ice cream, which I had to try. So why do they call them tapas?
During the summer, it's so hot, and we used to have a lot of flies around. So normally the people, when they were having like a drink, they used to cover the drink with one tapa.
In Spanish, to cover is tapar. So to protect your drink from the flies, you'd use a little plate to cover the drink.
That's the name tapa came from the cover that they used to take from the drinks to don't get flies.
And that's why tapas today are served on little plates. You can eat tapas in outdoor markets or in restaurants. Tapas have become popular in the United States as well, but not because of the flies. It's a fun way to taste lots of different kinds of food. For Teen Kids News, I'm Nicole.
What do you do if by the age of 19, you're a household name, you've been included in a list of the world's 100 most influential people, you're the youngest person ever named Times Person of the Year, oh, and one more thing, you've been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, not just once, but 3 times. Like I said, what do you do after all that? Well, if you're Greta Thunberg, you write a book. The teen activist from Sweden collaborated with more than 100 top experts to write a book that she hopes will be a go-to resource in the fight against climate change. Now, if we can only get all our adult world leaders to read it, maybe we'll finally get serious about saving our planet. For Teen Kids News, I'm Reese.
Well, that wraps up our show for this week. But we'll be back with more Teen Kids News next week. See you then.